Good evening, everybody. Rhonda here, and you're watching A Taste of Country. This evening, I'm going to be making a birthday cake. And this cake recipe is, to me, it's probably the best recipe that I have ever used. I absolutely love it. It's my go-to recipe. I think it's something special. There's right many ingredients, but it's worth every ingredient. I promise you. It's better than a top of the line bakery cake. It is that good. And the good thing about this recipe that I have used, it's a red velvet cake recipe, but I don't always use it for the red velvet. I've used it for carrot cake. I've used it for chocolate. I've used it for vanilla. And you can't go wrong with it. It's absolutely scrumptious. Oops, it is scrumptious, y'all. So I'm going to be making a chocolate cake with a cream cheese icing. And I'm using 1 box of the Devil's Food Cake. I thought I had the double chocolate, but this is just fine. Any kind of cake mix you want to use, you can use it. It works. Now, if you're going to use the red velvet, I'll put the recipe in the description box, but if you're going to use the red velvet, just make sure, and I will put that in there, to add the vinegar and the red food coloring. And I think that's it. Just the vinegar and the red food coloring. I don't even know. They talked like they were going to change the red food coloring. I haven't bought any lately, so I don't know what they're making it out of now. Okay, so let's get started on this recipe. And like I said, I will put this recipe in the description box, and you need to try it. The only thing that I add that's not in the recipe, and I will put that down too, is almond extract. I think the almond extract, along with the vanilla, adds, something special. And we're going to do a cream cheese icing, probably cream cheese and butter. And I'm going to try to decorate it. I'm not a professional cake decorator, but I'm going to give it a shot. All right, so let's get to it. Okay, once again, I've got this 15.25 ounce box of cake mix. Any kind you want. Now, if you're going to do a carrot cake, you just need to chop up, the carrots that you want to add. You can figure that out. I can't remember. I'll have to dig that one up. I wrote that one down when I did the carrot cake. But you basically just put enough carrots in it like you would a normal carrot cake. And you can use the spice cake mix. It's wonderful. It was one of the best carrot cakes I had ever made. So we're going to start off with our dry ingredients. So 1 box of our chocolate cake mix. And we're going to add 2 tablespoons of Hershey's cocoa powder. And it's unsweetened. And the reason we're adding that is because we're going to add some flour to this recipe. We've got 1 cup of all-purpose flour. 1 cup, all-purpose. And just mix that in. So my oldest sister's birthday is today, and we're going to meet tomorrow at the Outback and celebrate mine and her birthday with my other sister, the middle sister Marvis and one of Linda's friends. It's going to be a girls' day. Okay, now we've got all that incorporated. Now we're going to add a half a teaspoon of baking soda. Half teaspoon. Then we're going to add a half a teaspoon of salt. 1 cup of granulated sugar. Like I said, this is a doctored up cake mix, but it is wonderful. You will not regret it. It is so delicious and moist. All right. Now, you got to have 1.5 cups. Here's our wet ingredients. 1.5 cups of buttermilk. I've said this before. If you don't have buttermilk, use regular milk and just add some vinegar. If you had the 1.5 cups of regular milk, I would add about a tablespoon of, at least 3 teaspoons of vinegar. Stir it up and just let it sit for a few minutes and it'll do the exact same thing. Okay, we have a half a stick of, not a half a stick, a half a cup, excuse me, 1 stick, a half a cup of melted butter. So that's 1 stick of melted butter. Then we have 1/4 of a cup of vegetable oil. This is a very moist cake. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and hit it with a little bit of almond extract. I'll get it together, y'all. And then we're going to put in some vanilla bean paste. Preheat your oven. And this is one of the things that you need to remember. Bake this cake on 335. Preheat your oven to 335 degrees. I've got 2 8-inch cake pans that I've lined with parchment paper and sprayed underneath the parchment paper and on top and all around. All right, we're going to pour that in and get all that goodness out. Okay. I've got 3 large room temperature eggs. And then we have, for sour cream, we have 3/4 of a cup of sour cream. And this is full fat buttermilk, full fat sour cream. Okay, there we go. And that's it, y'all. That's enough, right? So we're going to, and you can use your mixer, but I'm just going to do it by hand, because I'll have to use my mixer for my cream cheese icing. And you want to mix it until everything's incorporated. You don't want to over mix it. You know, don't mix it to death, because it would be tough. Just mix it until it's all incorporated. And this whisk is real flimsy. Let me get one that's a little bit sturdier. Just a little bit sturdier. I'll get this thing right here. If you wanted to add almonds or pecans, chocolate chips, anything like that, you can do that. But I'm telling you, I always toast my nuts before I put them in a dessert, unless you're making a pecan pie and it's already going to be roasted like that. But roasting coconut and nuts always brings out the flavor. Always. If you're making a coconut cake and you have to top it with some coconut, I always roast my coconut because, like I said, it brings out so much more flavor. Alrighty. Hold your ears, y'all. Okay. Now, we want to bake this for about 30 minutes. Now, you can use 3 cake pans. The recipe says you could use 3 cake pans, but I choose to just use 2. It will make 3 layers. And my arm is tired. So just want to make sure everything down at the bottom of your bowl is incorporated. That's why I'm using a glass bowl, so I can make sure I got everything. And it smells so wonderful. And this cake is not rich like you would think it would be. It is, I love it. I think it's the best cake that you can make. I do. Okay. Now let's get our pans. Move my stuff. Okay. See if I can move it right here. I think what I'm going to do is get a measuring cup at first. That helps me. This bowl is kind of heavy. And it's easier for me to do it like this to start off with. I hope y'all are doing good. Hope you're having a wonderful weekend. Let's try this one. Maybe the bowl will be a little bit lighter. Set that right there for a minute. Okay. Oh, it smells wonderful. The very fragrant smell right now of chocolate. And you can make cupcakes out of this. It will make, let's see, what did I write down? It will make probably 12 to 18 cupcakes, depending on the size. I'm sure it'll make more than 12. But the icing recipe that I use makes up to 18 cupcakes. Oh, that is so good. Oh. Takes a minute to get this out of the bowl. And I do not have any cake, what do you call them? I've seen people use them. There's little bands that go around your cake pans. I do not have any of those. So, if it normally doesn't puff up, but if it does, I'll trim it. And my hands are clean. Alrighty. That is so yummy. Okay. I'm gonna tap these pans. I'll be right back. I'm gonna take them and do like that, but I'm gonna pause you. Do it like that. It does help. A lot of bakers and people say, don't do that. Tap your pans. Helps get the air bubbles out. Okay. Now, my oven has preheated to 335. I'm gonna stick them in there. And when they get done, I'm gonna put them on a rack and let them cool. And then we're gonna make the icing, and I'll be back. Okay, my cakes are cooling. I got them on a rack here. And they look pretty. Like I said, you can do 3 layers if you want to. I'm just doing 2 thick layers. And let's start on the icing. Okay. Now, in this bowl, I have 1 stick of butter and an 8-ounce block of cream cheese, and the butter salted. And I put some vanilla bean paste in there and a little bit of almond extract, just a dash. But if you're not using salted butter, just add a dash of salt because it does bring out the flavors. And I got about 3.5 cups of powdered sugar right here in a clean bowl. All right. Now I'm going to try to mix this up first and then put it into there. Because I don't really want powdered sugar everywhere. And you need a good mixer that can take, you know, this. And this is room temperature, like I said. I think I said that, y'all. Room temp. And I'm going to pause this until I get this mixed up so I won't drive y'all crazy. Now, I want to loosen this icing up just a little bit, y'all. So I'm going to add a little bit of whipping cream in it. Just a little bit. And if it gets too loose, then I can definitely add some more powdered sugar. I just don't want it to be too thick. But if you don't have like a KitchenAid mixer that can handle the stress of this, because it's thick, it can burn your mixer up. So if you want, you can use your stand mixer. Now, if you were making this icing for a carrot cake or a spice cake, and you wanted to make it, you wanted to add some spice to it, you can add whatever you want to your cream cheese. Add 1 teaspoon of cinnamon to that if you're making a carrot cake. If you want to make chocolate icing, you add 1/2 cup, 1/2 cup of cocoa powder to that mixture and mix it up real good. Now I added just like 1/2 teaspoon of cocoa powder to my ice, and I just wanted a hint of chocolate, just a hint. I didn't want it dark because I'm gonna try to do a drizzle. Now, in case I don't have enough icing, because you never know what you're gonna run into when you make a cake. I've got another block of cream cheese and another stick of butter, just in case. Okay. I have a new subscriber, and she has her own channel, and I wanted to give her a shout out. Her name is Vonda, and it's Vonda's Organized Chaos. She does grocery hauls. She talks about what it's like living with fibromyalgia, and she does a lot of cooking. And she's got a great sense of humor. She's very inviting. She's very nice. If y'all would give her a shout out or check her channel out, she's got a little over 300 subscribers. I'm sure she's still trying to get her channel off the ground, just like I am. But it's Vonda, VHONDAS, Organized Chaos. I will put the link in the description, and y'all give her a check out. I think she would appreciate that, y'all. I haven't spoken to her. Well, I take that back. She made a comment on my squash casserole, and I thanked her for that. I try to thank everybody or speak to everybody that speaks to me, because I do appreciate it. To do my drizzle, I bought these little bottles. I got 2 in a pack at the Dollar General. I'm thinking that's gonna work. Okay, y'all. Now, my cakes are cool. And I always like to put a little bit of icing. That's from my heavy cream. I like to put a little bit of glue down to keep your cake from, if you're gonna transport it, from sliding all over the place. And I got one of these little, I need to move this. One of these little turning things, which is not turning too great today. I don't know why. Okay. But anyway, like I said, I like to put a little bit of icing down just to hold my cake down. Sometimes I'll cut them, sometimes I don't. You know, the cake, but I'm not gonna do that today. I'm just gonna set my cake down there, try to get it centered. Now, I'm not a professional cake decorator, y'all, so don't expect a lot. And like I said, I just wanted a hint of chocolate in my icing. Just a hint. Took me a minute to find my, this is not the offset spatula that I really wanted. I like the ones that's curved, or, you know, y'all know what I'm talking about. And I try to put a big lump in the middle and just work my way out so I won't dig down into the cake like that. And then push it over to the side like so. And you know, it doesn't matter about that layer because nobody's gonna see it. I would like to take a cake decorating class. That would be fun. I think Hobby Lobby does them in Danville, Virginia. I think they do a lot of different kinds of classes, like, you know, flower arrangement and things like that. And I think they do the cake decorating. I'm gonna check into that. I used to could do flowers, but I had, you know, I just like playing the piano. I played the piano, and now it's like I sit down at the piano and I have forgotten a lot of the songs that I used to play. So I've got to, you know, if you don't use it, you lose it, y'all. And I guess I've lost it. Okay. I think that's enough. think. All right. I try to be a perfectionist and I need to quit on cake making. Now I'm going to set this on there. Alrighty. I want to make sure y'all can see it okay. I wanted to save enough to make some other things to go on it, but I don't know if I'm going to have enough. Probably have to make some more. I do have some that I put in the freezer last time I made a cake. I do have some canned icing I could do that with, I guess. I'm gonna tell y'all, I would never, and I've told y'all this before, I would never tell you something was good if it wasn't. This cake recipe, like I said, you can make it with any kind of cake, box cake mix. It is so daggone delicious. I would not kid you. It is wonderful. Now after I get this icing on here, I'm gonna put it in the refrigerator so it can chill. You want to keep this in the refrigerator after you make it because of the cream cheese and stuff. You definitely want to do that. I'm sorry, y'all, I'm concentrating. Alrighty. So I'm gonna stick this in the refrigerator. Okay. So I'm gonna stick this in the refrigerator for probably 35, 40 minutes until it, hardens up a little bit, or the icing, gets harder. And then we're gonna try to do some other decorations. Okay, I'll be back. Hey everybody. I wanted to say that I did not do the drizzle and stuff. I left the cake as is. It's about 8:30, and I have got to get started on Randy's daddy's food for next week. I've got to do some barbecue chicken and some scalloped potatoes and stuff. So I had to get on with it. But I do hope that you make the cake because you won't regret it. I would not tell you if it wasn't delicious. It's delicious. Um, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I hope that you think about doing so. And please, it's important that if you hit that like button, it helps our videos be able to get seen by more people. Okay? Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And thanks again for watching A Taste of Country. Bye-bye.